Hello and welcome back to the Day Night Podcast with Lisa and Marta. Our special guest is
Nayra.
Nayra. What is your age? Where do you come from? Who are you?
Okay. Well, I'm Nayra. I'm 20, which is crazy because whenever I tell people, they think I'm younger.
I thought you were younger.
Yeah. And who am I? I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, you would expect someone that's been around for 20 years to maybe know who they are, but I'm still kind of deciding. And I've changed a lot over the years, so that also plays a part into things. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you still have time
Yeah.
to think about who you want to be and all that. We've only known you for like a year though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came last year.
Not even a year.
No, because I was studying in another school in Belgium, and then I only came like in December. So for the first school semester, I wasn't here for the whole thing. I only came during compos. So
I remember everybody being really,
yeah,
really concerned.
yeah. But I was told that my compo grades wouldn't like count for anything. But then at the end of the year, they told me that it actually does count to something.
Oh. They do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the heck?
So some of the teachers didn't even end up giving me a grade, and some of them felt that they had to count my compo in the grade. I do thank Miss Arnella, the English teacher, because I didn't do the last part of the English exam because I didn't know what they were studying, and she only marked me on like the first two parts.
That's good though.
So
yeah,
exactly.
There's no
exactly. So I ended up getting a 9, which I was very happy about.
Good. That's really good.
Yeah, that's
all right. So our next question is: what perception of me and Marta did you have was either true or false? And was it the same thing for you?
Okay. I'm gonna start with Marta because I think I met you first. It was during the maths compo, if I'm not mistaken. I remember you being on the same table as me. Yes. Yeah. So I honestly thought you were just really nice. I did get you confused with someone else.
Ooh.
I don't remember who, but I just remember I heard you speaking Portuguese and I was like, okay, I can speak Portuguese with her.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to see who spoke Portuguese, who spoke English, who spoke French, because at the time I didn't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Not a lot of people know I speak Portuguese.
Yeah, like it's like a lot of people here that weren't in the Portuguese section. And then later on, I found out that they also spoke Portuguese. Like, yeah. But I honestly really liked you. I thought that you were very nice. I thought that you were very smart. I saw you like doing maths, and then you told me that you were in maths 8, and I was just like, that's insane. I didn't even know there was a maths 8 because I thought that there was just maths 3, maths 5, and that's done. So when you told me you were in maths 8, I was like, okay, she is smart. Like, and then when I met you, Liesle, first of all, I thought your name was Leslie.
Yeah.
Because everyone, like, someone called you Leslie, and I was just like, okay, yeah, probably. And then when I heard like Edgar calling you Liesle, I was like, okay, is her name Leslie or Liesle? I didn't really understand. And then I asked you, and then you told me that your parents wanted to be different.
Yeah.
So they called you Liesle. I think my first perception of you was in philo, and I just loved your takes. It was the same takes that I had, but couldn't like put them in words. So I was just very happy that someone else had the same mindset that I had and like could put my thoughts into words. Because I struggle a lot with that. That's why sometimes in philo I don't really talk, and then other times I talk a lot. But yeah, I really like that about you. That like
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that you have very eloquent ways of putting your words, like your ideas into words. I think so, yeah.
I feel like I don't. I feel like I need to up my vocabulary, have a better way of expressing it. Because I have this tendency of like, I feel like I'm always rushed. Because okay, in philosophy, sometimes when the teacher's staring at you, you feel like you kind of have to end it quickly because she wants to move on.
Yeah.
But I was like, and it just got to me to the point where it just seeps everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always thought I had a terrible way of putting my sentences together. But hearing that, honestly, good.
To be honest, I have to say you're one of my favorite people in philo.
Really?
Yeah, I love when you talk in philo because it's always something intelligent and
Yeah.
something that makes sense.
Like I always try to put my 2 cents into it because I did think about going into philo 4, but I didn't want my workload to be too much because I'm struggling in chemistry. I'm okay in biology and in maths, but like those are my 3 subjects that like I'm really struggling in right now. So putting in philo 4 just didn't. I just didn't want too much to work.
Yeah.
So I think I try to compensate by like talking a lot in philo and just trying to get my thoughts out because I just really love philosophy.
Okay.
I love philosophy. I don't know why it's philosophy in English, even though I don't think those are the 2 things I want to study in uni. Those are the 2 things I love just in general.
It's just fun. It's just thinking. And
Exactly.
then talking.
Exactly.
I love philosophy.
But yeah,
I
I was
also
gonna
want to
say-
say philosophy.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. You too, like when you speak, you have a way of putting your sentences, even though you don't think
Yeah.
it, but really, you have a way of making an example so comprehensive in the most nicest, eloquent
Oh.
way as well. Like it doesn't sound complicated.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest, philosophy is can be a very mind-boggling subject, if I may say. So sometimes when you express, or when you hear some people express their thought process doesn't make sense, but you know what they want to say. But for you, it's like really well structured and it makes sense and it's quick and you get to the point. I really like that. So yeah, I feel like the teachers are rushing you know.
Because I feel like if I talk too much, my point will be lost in not in translation, but it will be lost in
Yeah.
everything I said. So I try to keep things short because I don't want them to be lost in like everything that I said.
Yeah.
And also I feel like if I talk too much, then I lose my own train of thought. Then I don't like I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah.
And I also tend to like talk about a lot of things at the same time. It's something that my family members, especially my sister, my best friend, my boyfriend, they all tell me the same thing, that I always talk about different things at the same time and I never get to the point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
to me, that's not the case. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you said that you do chemistry, biology,
And maths.
and maths. So what do you want to do after
Well,
this?
for a while I wanted, like when I was very young, I don't want to say very very young, but in my childhood and like early teens, I loved babies, so I wanted to be a midwife. I heard the word midwife and I always connected that into like being a doctor that like delivers babies, but then as I grew up, people told me that midwifery is actually being a nurse that delivers babies. So I started learning about what the doctor that delivers babies is called, and it's I still can't say it. I know what the word is, but I still can't say it. It's like obstetricy or something like that.
Obstetrician?
Like yeah, it's an obstetrician, but I don't know what like the medical
Terminology.
is. But then I realized that I don't think I want to go into that because I don't know if I want to go into medicine. Yeah. And then later on, when I moved to Portugal and I met my best friend, we used to give each other a lot of like um, s- um, therapy sessions. So that's when my love of psychology started to really appear. It was with the therapy sessions that we used to give each other. Then I started actually watching like YouTube videos about like court cases and breaking down like the psychology of serial killers and criminals and whatever. And also like the psychology of movie characters. I really love that. That's something that I genuinely love. Like just watching a video essay about a movie character or like certain scenes in a movie and breaking down the interactions that they have. That I love that. I genuinely do. And then that's when my love of psychology started to appear. And that's what I want to do now. But my parents have been trying to push me a little into nursing, like my older sister. but I still want to stick to psychology. So I might do psychology first and then nursing, or I might just stick to psychology and maybe go into criminology or something like that.
So now, you always hear about everybody should see a therapist at least once in their life.
Yeah,
And I think that's 100% true. And so you need more psychologists. You're
to
going to
be
find
yeah,
work.
to be honest, yeah.
Do you believe in that though? Everybody needs to visit a therapist at least once in their life.
Well, I think yes, but I also think no because there are different types of psychology, which I've also learned about, and I have also went to therapy when I was 15 to 17. I would see a therapist regularly, but I realized that that wasn't really helping me because I could already psychologize, I guess, my problems. And I just wanted someone to tell me what I can do. Like, what is it that I should do to solve this? Because I already understand what my problems were. I just didn't know how to deal with them. And my therapist couldn't really help with that. She would just talk to me about what was going on within my life. And since our sessions were so far apart from each other, sorry, since my sessions were so far apart from each other, new things would happen in my life, and I would need new ways to cope with them. And but we still wouldn't have finished what we had talked about in the last session, so it was just very complicated for me. So I learned during that time to just find ways to cope for myself. And I learned recently that there are actual psychologists that can help with the ways to cope. There are different types of psychologists, and that's something that I didn't understand before. I knew that there was a difference between a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and a therapist, but I didn't know that there were different types of therapists or psychologists or psychiatrists. I forgot what the name of the specific psychologist is, but it's someone that does help with ways to cope. They don't. It's not that they don't want to hear about your problems. They talk to you about your problems, but also about ways to deal with your problems. And yeah,
Are you
that's it.
most interested in that kind of psychology then?
For me, I think I am interested in more learning about why things are the way they are, or why humans are the way that they are. That's also why I wanted to go into sociology, but again, with influence from my parents, sociology is not a real subject.
But you know what? I mean, a teacher of ours has said it
Yeah.
multiple times. Like, do not close yourself into one study. It's
Exactly.
probably one of the biggest
Yeah.
mistakes you could do.
Exactly.
The best thing you could do is when you have a course, sometimes that course it's like a spectrum. It falls into different fields.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you can, I don't know what you want to study. We're going to come to that
Yeah.
though. But if there is any aspects of psychology involved in it, you take it, and then somehow you can specialize into that while still having a degree, and then have not maybe a double major, but you'll still have a degree within that,
Yeah.
that field.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find something within psychology in that realm. So yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, what do you want to do though?
I again, I'm not very sure. I wanted to first of all get a degree in psychology, just normal psychology, just plain simple general psychology, and then after that, decide what I want to specialize in. Like I said, for a while it was criminal psychology or criminology and psychology, but then I thought I was going to something very specific very early on. And since I wasn't sure if I wanted to follow criminology in the future, I didn't want to specialize so early on.
Yeah.
So I think psychology is broad enough where I can go into any subject afterwards. I can even go into management if I wanted to, or even nursing like my parents want me to, or something like that. Like I was talking to Miss Karen, and I told her about my parents. I forgot what the word is. Expressões.
Worries.
Yeah, I told them about I told them about my parents' worries. about me going into psychology before going into nursing, but she told me that I should go first into psychology before nursing because psychology already gives me the basis of a lot of things that go into nursing. Of course, it doesn't give me the medical side or the scientific side, but it does give me like how to assess a patient side or how to communicate with the patient. So it's already a good base.
Yeah.
And I told my parents, and they at first were like kind of spectacle, not spectacle. They were kind of
Suspicious?
skeptical. They were kind of skeptical at first, but then they understood that it's something I want to do, and I still have the possibility of going into nursing afterwards. And my mom even said that if I don't want to go into nursing, something that she thinks I'll be perfect for is child psychology, learning how like children, how their minds work, how to talk to them and stuff like that. And yeah, and she also had a conversation with one of her friends that she works with about how she studied I forgot what it's called in English, but in Portuguese it's novas técnicas para parentesco ou qualquer coisa assim. I
New
forgot.
parental translation. Yeah. Parental something.
New parental something. It's mostly learning new ways for parents to connect with their children. And she told me that she thinks that this field is going to be needed a lot in the future because there will be a disconnect from our generation and the generations to come. Like we were still part of that generation that didn't have iPhones growing up, and a lot of internet wasn't always accessible in all households. There wasn't a lot of technology in all our households. I still remember having to wait ages to download music onto my iPod. I had an iPod, but still I still had to wait ages to download it onto there. So even though we went a part of our parents' generation that literally grew up with not a lot of internet access when they were younger, we still had, I wouldn't, it's not a privilege, but it's also not a privilege of growing up without without technology. But the next generations, even now, Gen Alpha, they have that. They have the iPads, they have the iPhones, they have the internet, they have the computers, they have all of this, and it's not the web anymore. It is the internet. They have Twitter, they have Instagram, they have Facebook, even though Facebook, yeah, exactly. So it's going to be more complicated for our generation or even earlier generations, or even Gen Alpha, to connect with later generations because it's completely different. It's like us dealing with boomers, I guess.
But you know what? I was thinking about this. Do you think it is this disconnect that's not just with baby boomers, but like Gen Z with Gen X parents, or I don't know what generation parents are in, or Gen Alpha with maybe not millennial parents, because that's a bit different, but specifically Gen Z with Gen X parents. The reason why maybe communication has gone down is because the way Gen X was brought up, it was just a different time. Mentality was different. Bear in mind, some of them lived in areas where the community was a lot tighter. Maybe they had like friends who've been their friends to this day. But then if you were to look over to Gen Z, it's completely different. You're friends with one person one day, and the next you're not.
Exactly.
And then your parents don't understand that.
Oh yes,
You know what?
yes.
We're not really like just that example, but is the communication barrier there because they don't understand? That's my question to you.
Yeah. Well, as you were speaking, I was just thinking about situations with my parents because I had a lot of fights growing up. Well, I'm still growing up. I still live with my parents, but I had a lot of fights growing up with my parents because on one side they didn't understand not why I was the way that I was, but why like our generation was the way that they were a little. But also I didn't understand why it was such a big deal for them.
Yeah.
And I think more with my dad than with my mom because my dad is part of older Gen X while my mom is part of the younger Gen X. So I think it was easier for my mom to connect with me and my younger sister because she had more or less a little of the same childhood that we had, so it was easier for her to understand us. While my dad, it was very difficult. Like, I don't want to air out
Business,
my
yeah.
family business, but not only is it because my dad is part of an older generation that he doesn't understand me, but it's also because my dad lost both of his parents very young, and it took me a long time to understand that maybe that's a reason why my dad isn't like,
Open.
yes, yeah. While my mom, she had her parents to guide her, and it was much easier for her when she became a mother to know what to do. Well, with my dad, it was a little difficult because he didn't have like that guiding hand of parents. He did have his siblings, but it's not exactly, it's not the same. I think I'm getting a little sidetracked,
No,
but
no, it's okay. Go ahead, yeah.
but to bring it back to your question, I do think that there's a lot from their generation that they don't understand, like from our generation. I used to have a lot of fights with my parents about wanting to go see friends that, in their words, just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I do have one more question before you get to yours.
Okay.
How was it growing up being a black girl in wherever you lived in?
Okay, so I moved. Well, again, more
From London,
backstory.
right?
I did live in London. When I was 4 years old, I moved from Portugal to London. It was West London, a little outside of West London. Well, a little outside of London in the west. It was in Surrey, Richmond upon Thames, for those one specific locations. But I was the only black girl in my class for a few years also. I went to a school in Twickenham, and some black girls would come and go. And in my last like 3 years, I was part of like 3 or 4 or 5 black people that were in my class. So that was a plus.
Yeah.
But when I left England, I went then to Guinea-Bissau, where my parents are from. And there, I wasn't the only black person in my class. It's an African country. There was like the whole class was black. There was like 1 or 2 white kids that were from Portuguese parents that also would go, like, that would study at the school. It was a private school, so they were teaching the same curriculum as in Portugal. And there, from coming from like a predominantly white town, a predominantly white school, to a black one, a predominantly black school, it was not an adjustment. I was very happy to be like surrounded by my people, I guess. But at the same time, there was a big cultural divide because I was with people that had grown up in Bissau and had studied in Bissau, or people that had grown up in Portugal around majority black people, also in some schools in Portugal, and then had come into Bissau and had the same mentality as everyone else. I was in Bissau from ages 11 to 13, which were my middle school years.
Those are important.
Yeah,
years,
yeah, exactly.
11 to 13 are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was like there was a huge cultural disconnect. I was the youngest in my class because in the UK you start earlier school than in Portugal. So I was just 1 year younger than everyone else, but it felt like I was years younger than them. Like, I had people calling me a child, even when I was just excited about one thing. I would get too excited and I was suddenly a child.
Yeah.
I got my first boyfriend when I was in Bissau, and they would call me a child because I didn't want to kiss him in front of people. I hadn't even had my first kiss yet, and they were trying to push me to kiss him in front of people. And yeah, it was just there's other situations, but again, I don't want to get into those. But I had good friends, but even those good friends, there would be moments with them where I would just feel like, damn, maybe I should grow up faster.
Yeah.
I would have conversations with my mom where she was like, they have been in situations that have been different from yours. I guess I had a lot of privilege living in the UK compared to Guinea, so of course I understand that that's why there was also like a disconnect. But it was just hard because, like Marta said, 11 to 13 are fundamental years. So it was very difficult for me to understand. I had to grow a backbone very early on. Until now, I still feel like I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's just it. And then
Yeah.
when I moved to Portugal, it was a little bit in the middle between the UK and Guinea. And I, on like my second day, I met my best friend. She's also black, and she knew, and her parents knew my parents
Yeah.
when like they were growing up
That's
in.
really fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool.
But like, her name is Mariana. Hi, Mariana, if you're watching this, I love you. I miss you. But yeah, I met my best friend, and one of the first comments I heard from other classmates is, "Oh, I'm just friends with her because she's another black girl in my class." So, like, it's not just because of that. Maybe that was a factor, but I just genuinely liked her. There was other people in the class that I liked, but she was the one that really stuck by me. We were both new girls in the class, so it was easier for us to get to know each other compared to everyone else who was like studying all at the like they had come from previous years together.
Yeah.
And then when we moved to secondary school together, we went to the same secondary school. She went to art, I went to science, but we still stayed very close together. It was very difficult for me though, because again, being again the only black girl in my class when I moved, yes, when I moved to secondary school, it was a little complicated.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by people that also came from very traditional backgrounds. So not a lot of them, especially in science. Science is usually for people that take a very traditional route. With like that was different from mine because I tend to lean very artistically. I am like very not traditional. I'm not traditional at all, but I tend to lean more to like artsy kind of thinking. I guess I'm not sure, but yes,
yeah.
creative thinking exactly. So their mentality was different, skin color was different. They all grew up in Portugal when I had very different backgrounds from everyone, so that also added to like me being different. And I because of that, I stayed a lot with my best friend. And during like my first 3 years of secondary school, when I was 15, well, when I was 14 to 17, I went into a very, very, very deep depression. Sorry again.
No worries.
I went into a very deep depression. I felt isolated in school, but I was isolating myself. I would have panic attacks when I would go into school. I didn't want to go into school at all. So there would be times where I would literally skip in the middle of class or in the start of class. I would lie to my parents, say that I was sick so I could stay home. And that led to me being held back twice in the same year. So I did my year 10 3 times because I was held back twice.
Yeah.
And that is something that that has like not haunted me but has hurt me over the years, because I look at my friends that I made in secondary and most of them are already in uni, most of them have finished uni, and I am still in secondary school,
Yeah.
which is something that has caused a lot of shame in me. But I have grown to accept that this is my situation. I'm not like I would have finished school 2 years ago if I hadn't moved to Luxembourg. But since I didn't know the language, I had to be held back another 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. So when I left Portugal, it was 2022, and I was in my last year finally of school. But then a lot of very toxic, a lot of very depressive situations happened that made my mum think that it was best if I go back to the UK. So I went to live in Wales with an auntie, and during the Christmas holidays, I decided to go visit my dad. He was already here in Luxembourg. And because I also felt kind of isolated with my auntie's family, I decided
Just stay here.
to stay here with my dad because it was just much easier for me. I had people that I had a person that I knew.
Yeah.
And my mum and my sister were already planning on moving from Portugal here to Luxembourg anyways. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay. I didn't understand that staying meant that I couldn't complete my last year. That if I went into the Luxembourgish system, I would have to stay in school for another 4 years. And then when we went to Belgium, it was very difficult because in Belgium you only speak French, or up in like Finnish land or whatever. Flemish,
Yeah.
Flemish, not Finnish, Flemish. But it was very complicated for me in Belgium also because I did not know French. I still don't know French. I know like a little bit, but not too much. Not too much.
L3?
No, I wanted to do L3, but
You have to do a test, and that would be
yeah,
horrible.
and I was also like 2 years behind. That's what the director said. I was 2 years behind, so it wouldn't.
Work.
Yeah, exactly. So right, so Belgium wasn't a good fit. So my parents were so happy when me and my sister got accepted into the school. Someone I have to thank for that is Ines Costa. She's not in the school anymore, but thank you so much. You're a really great friend and an angel in hard times, so thank you. But yeah, so when I came to this school, it felt easy because I was studying in English, which was a language that I was very confident in, and a little in Portuguese, which is not a language that I'm completely confident in, but I can manage. And I liked seeing people around with my same mentality, with the same cultural background that I had, and not not the same childhood, but something similar,
Yeah.
and spoke the same languages as I did. It was easier. Right, something that I didn't mention when I moved from England to Portugal, I didn't know a lick of Portuguese
Really?
at all. I knew like when I was very young Portuguese, but since I moved to the England, when I moved to the UK very young, I had lost my Portuguese and had stuck onto English. So when I moved to Portugal, I didn't know a lick of Portuguese. And that was also very complicated for me because I had to catch up. I was already in year 7 to year 9, so
Yeah.
I was doing some not basic Portuguese.
Yeah.
I was doing like another level of Portuguese, so I had to really catch up. But yeah,
And okay, if you ever have kids in the future,
yeah.
do you think you'll teach them Portuguese?
I'll teach them Portuguese. I'll teach them English. My boyfriend knows how to speak a lot of languages, so he'll also teach them a lot of languages. And something that I also want to teach them that I myself don't know how to speak is Criollo, specifically Criollo from Guinea-Bissau. I want them to spend a lot of time with my parents and my parents' family so they catch it, because that's something that both me and my sister regret. Well, me and my younger sister regret not learning and not speaking.
Yeah.
We understand everything, but it's a language that we would really love to speak ourselves. Yeah.
No, because that's like one of the things I'm thinking for the future. If I've
Yeah.
ever had kids,
Yeah.
if you want to, they have to speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
Because how else are they going to speak with their grandparents?
Yeah,
with-
exactly.
It's just
Sorry, I'm laughing because see, like my situation is so complicated. The issue is I speak like 5 languages.
Yeah.
Like the 6th one, I like to add it in that it's so fun.
Never mind.
What's the 6th one? Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know my words, and like if you threw me in the streets somewhere in Arab, some country in the north, don't do it. But I think I could pick it up, whichever dialect, but not Darija, of course not. But I think I'd have a hard time teaching them all the languages, especially the language of my home country, because listen, I speak it, but don't rely on me because I'm not gonna bring you anywhere with that, which I think is sad, but
Do your
Yeah.
parents speak it?
huh?
Do your parents speak it?
They do speak, and I understand it. And the thing is, it's not that I don't speak and stuff. I can speak. It's just very slow. But if I spend like a summer in Uganda and spoke with people, by the time I come back, I could probably speak it fluently. So it's not that big of a deal, but kind of sad. But
Okay. Well,
yeah. But then look, if your like husband, for example, your boyfriend,
Yeah.
he speaks a different sets of language than you do.
Yeah.
What language would you two choose to speak with your kids at home?
Well, me and him, we already speak English and Portuguese to each other.
Yeah.
Um, oh my god, it really depends on the country we decide to stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he loves Germany and he loves the German language. So we might decide to go to Germany, but I've heard that Germany is starting to become a very right-leaning country. So so that might not be an option.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Berlin is-
Yeah, Berlin is where it's at. To be honest, I don't really know. I think English and Portuguese at home, whatever country we're in, that language at school, and maybe at home if I learn how to speak it and he already knows how to speak it. But he also speaks Luxembourgish, he speaks French. So I feel like I also want our children to know that. So maybe Luxembourg is the place that we're going to stay at.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because that's like I grew up in Austria, but at home my parents always spoke Portuguese. They were never the kind of parents to like get me to teach. Well, yeah, but they always spoke Portuguese to me, so I know Portuguese quite well, and then I know German, and I learn English, French, and Luxembourgish now. But I know that if I have kids, I'll do just like same thing. As
Yeah.
you. It depends what country they
Yeah.
go to, because I obviously would love to teach them French, German, and all that stuff. But it depends on the country I'm in. If I live in Germany, I'm not going to teach them German. They can learn German.
They can
by
learn
themselves.
exactly.
They don't need me. I'm also not going to teach them English. English
Yeah.
is really easy to
Easy
learn.
to learn, yeah.
I'll teach them Portuguese and maybe French because French is fun. But like the other languages,
But
Yeah.
see, you
It's
don't
just
have to
fun.
keep into account the person, like your partner as well.
Yeah.
if my partner, see, my dad's best friend is Portuguese and his wife is from Slovakia, right? And so, and the kids are in the Portuguese section in their school, in the European school. However, their mom still speaks to them in Slovakian.
Okay.
So they're still learning both languages. And then they also know, and then the two parents speak English to each other, so they also learn English.
Great.
So they're learning three languages at once, and I think that's really good.
What if the person can't speak English?
We're gonna have one language in common.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. We don't speak the same language.
They
Kind
speak
of tough.
Swahili and you don't know Swahili, so
Yeah, that's it.
I think
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think something to take into account as well is fluency, because also international students sometimes they don't have enough time to learn every language, so they know like a very low level of every language. They know a lot of languages, but a low level of all of the languages.
Yeah.
So I think it's also important to know like when to teach your child a certain language. Like I think you should start young, teaching them two languages, and then as time goes on, they'll learn a different language at school, and you can put them in a language class for a fourth language. And I think for them it might be easier like that. I'm not really sure because
I think the trick is. Sorry, what was this?
I do Portuguese after school.
yeah,
So that I don't
Lose
I know
it,
a lot
yeah.
of people, especially here in Luxembourg, they speak Portuguese fluently. They're fine, but they can't write.
they can't write, they can't read it.
They can't
That
write,
that
they
was
can't
my
read it.
problem.
Yeah.
My parents spoke a lot of Portuguese with me at home, even in the UK. But when I got to Bissau and when I got to Portugal, I didn't know how to read or to write in Portuguese.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
So from the moment my parents put me in Austria, they put me into Portuguese school.
Mm-hmm.
The moment we got into Luxembourg, Portuguese school. And this is my last year of Portuguese school as well.
No, the trick, honestly, is because here in Luxembourg, you learn like 3 languages plus your mother tongue. So either if you have older siblings, speak Luxembourgish with each other, then your mother tongue with your parents, and then TV, that's where you switch the language. That's the trick, because that's where I learned German.
Yeah.
I picked up German so fast. When I was at school, I could speak German, I understood it. So watch a different language on, as in your TV, whatever. channel. Whatever you want. People that know Zuparte Al Kika, best channel ever. Best channels ever. And then for the third language, usually learn that at school. At least here you do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's what my cousins have done. They've all grown up here in Luxembourg, and they talk Portuguese with their parents. They talk Luxembourgish with each other and English because they both know how to speak English very well because of YouTube, because of TV, because of
That's how
series.
I learned English.
Yeah.
I didn't learn
Yeah.
English. Never heard. Yeah. That's how I got fluent in English.
I mean, English is my first language, you know. So I learned it from my parents. But it was like a mix of like the mother tongue of
Yeah.
theirs and then English. So, yeah. Do you have the next? Well, I have one, but I
You
don't know. Okay. It's my favorite. What is currently your favorite song?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll have to look on Spotify. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. Well, I actually don't have one because I was looking at my playlist and I just couldn't pick any particular song. There is a song that I listen to a lot, which is EXO by Jo. And it's a very calm, kind of melancholic song. Well, it's not melancholic for most people, but it's melancholic for me. And I just love the kind of Afro swing, which is it was a genre in the UK for a while. Afro swing. I kind of love the Afro swing of the song because it's like I'm not sure how to explain it, but please listen to it. It's really good. But I was looking at my playlist and there's just too many songs to pick from. I don't even have a favorite artist.
Is she?
Yes.
That's good. Oh, sorry. My bad.
Oh my god. Right. So yes, she's also in my playlist. I have so many different kind of artists. But mostly for the past couple of years, I have listened to mostly very spiritual. Oh my gosh, soul, neo soul, R&B, alternative R&B songs.
TBD?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm glad to say that I don't listen to P Diddy.
Can any of you name a PDD song? I don't know.
Sadly, I can name P Diddy songs because growing up with Trace Urban, you do listen to a lot of P Diddy songs. There's Nasty Girl, which that's all I'm gonna say.
No, that's a different one. Sorry, I don't listen to.
Oh my
Been a
god.
nasty girl.
Definitely not that one.
Okay, so yeah, Marta, it's your favorite song.
It's my favorite song right now. It's gonna be my favorite song for like forever now because it's just gonna be really special to me. There's a song that went viral on TikTok a while ago, right? And I thought, oh, that's a cool song. Let me just add it to my playlist. And recently, I listened to the whole album it was in, and it's a song called Punk Tactics.
I don't think I've heard it.
Okay.
Do you want to sing it?
No.
Okay, okay.
I don't want to sing it because it's a song that was literally made like last year,
Okay.
2023, but it sounds like it was made in the 90s by Beastie Boys or like by some white rapper, like silly white rap group that just says silly stuff all the time. But it's from 2023.
Yeah.
And I thought that was crazy, and so I sent it to my dad because my dad created a bit of my music taste. You know, I don't know if you guys can relate,
I can definitely relate.
but my dad
Never relate.
created my music taste, and every time I introduce like a new song to him, it's like, oh yeah, I know that already. I know who that is. I know what that is. I don't like it or something, and then I feel, I still hadn't found something new that he liked, and I finally did. I sent this artist to them, and he thought it was so cool. He was almost willing to drive 4 hours to see the train.
Yeah.
We're not going to, but so just like that's my favorite song now because I convinced my dad. Well, I didn't convince him. I discovered something for my dad that he likes. And that's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
That's a top achievement right now.
Before you say your favorite song, I just wanted to mention that it is a big achievement because whenever I find a song that I feel like is my dad's vibe, I always want to show him. And if he honestly to God likes it, and I see him adding the song to his playlist, I'm just happy. I'm just like yes, I know what you listen to. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, sorry guys, can't relate. No, because my parents don't really listen to music nowadays anymore. They used to back in the day. They used to listen to like Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson. Like my dad was a big fan of Bob Marley, so he had all his CDs and all those the Police.
Yeah.
My favorite song though is I got two. Is "Miss You So" by Frank Ocean. So I don't think it's on Spotify. And then the other one is
what?
"Miss You So" by
It's
Frank
not on
Ocean.
Spotify.
No, it's not.
Really?
It's not on Spotify. I don't think I need to check. I don't think you can find it. And then the other one is "Transform" by Daniel Caesar. No, I just think they're slow songs, but it's nice, it's melodic, it's soul. You can feel the music. And now the next question is, what song would you assign to me? You can have some time.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like you can explain. It would be nice if you could explain why.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one for you.
Okay. So my first song is for Liesle, and let me just go back up so I can see if I can find it. Okay, so I think you should listen to Garden Party by Masego.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've heard it. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but I think it would be very much your vibe.
Okay.
And if not Garden Party, then another Masego song, which is Tado. It was also popular on TikTok for a while, but
Screenshot and then send it.
okay. Okay. And for Marta, Situations by oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the band. Situations by Escape the Fate. It used to be one of my favorite songs. And if not Situations by Escape the Fate, there is also a song by 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
I think it's their most popular song. 9 Inch Nails Closer.
Yeah.
Have you heard it?
I have.
Okay. Do you like it? Was it a good?
I have heard it, but again, it's 9 Inch Nails again was about my dad.
Yeah.
Like as much. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't hear it much
Okay.
growing up, so I never
Okay.
grew to love it. But I could get into it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those
Okay.
two songs.
Okay. So Masego, because or were you asking the two songs for Marta?
They're both
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Masego, because it's not exactly Frank Ocean and Daniel Caesar, but it is like in between that R&B and kind of soul, alternative R&B, neo soul kind of era. And it's very like, especially that song Garden Party, it's very catchy, it's very like dancey, but it's not like dancey like as in like a club song.
Yeah.
It's dancey more in like a wow, like I could bounce to this. And Situations, especially because you said that you said that you were interested in pop punk.
I love pop.
And Situations to me, it's not the perfect pop punk song, but it was like one of the first pop punk songs that I absolutely loved. But yeah, that's the reason.
Okay, so now we Marta. Marta, you go first.
Okay, I'm really bad at this.
It's okay.
I'm actually horrible at this.
I need
have done this,
new
I did
music.
before. Not like this, but I'm just bad. I'm doing this solely off vibes.
Okay.
Do you know a song called "Pretty Woman" by Roy Orbison?
No, I don't think so.
Pretty Woman.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Then yeah, that one I know.
That's what I think.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the vibe is just like somebody who's energetic, somebody who's happy, somebody who's just like having fun. And I think
Yeah.
that's when I think of you, do you think like energetic, happy person?
Well, yes, on the outside, maybe no on the inside, but yes.
Okay, I've never paid too much attention to the lyrics because I haven't gone to that yet. But I do think the lyrics are what they seem.
Okay.
So maybe that's part
Okay.
of it too. I don't know.
And then I'll
really
take
bad at this.
like I know the song because it's a popular song,
Yeah.
but I've never really listened to it, so I'll take a listen.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No.
How about you?
Okay, mine is Me and Your Mama by Charles
Yes,
Champion.
yes, yes,
You welcome.
yes.
You freaking welcome. Because listen, the song has layers.
It does.
Now, for those who know, it sounds like a relationship throughout time. If you know, you know, you listen to it. But to me, I see you as like a layered. I see everyone as layered. It's really specific because at the beginning, it's like
Very angelic.
dun, 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 and it's like whole power. It's like everything that's happened. From everything that I heard, I was like, dude, you are a layered person. All these things happen to you, but at the end, it goes
Yeah.
quiet. It's like you kind of understand yourself
Yeah.
more. You're able to navigate life a bit more clearly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like you found a bit of happiness in life, right? Being here in Luxembourg, it's a bit more stable. You're not moving.
Very
constantly.
much like Luxembourg has actually given me a lot of peace.
Yeah.
My mom constantly says that she's very happy of the person I'm becoming,
Yeah.
of the maturity I'm gaining, of the peace I have, because she has told me that I'm a person that like gives my energy a lot to people, and she's just happy that I've found people that give me peace. My friends here in Luxembourg, my boyfriend, my sister, and my relationship has like become closer, so I'm just happy about that too.
That's how I see the
Yeah.
song. It's like all at once. It goes climax, climax, and then bum, bum, bum. You have to listen to the song. At the end, it's just really quiet to the point where it's silent, and that's where you find your absolute happiness, which we're getting there. But that's how I see the song. It's like, see, this is a 10 out of 10.
But I still love the recommendation, and I'm still going to listen to it.
She's not mine. I mean, joking. But yeah, so now we're going to do the last one. 3 last ones, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that,
From your life up until now,
Yeah.
what's something you want to take away to the future? Take away with yourself to the future.
Love. And I know that sounds very basic and broad, but something that I've learned a lot is that love is not just romantic. I have a lot of love for my family, a lot of love for my best friend, and especially a lot of love for me. I'm not completely on the level that I want to be, but I always try to adopt a love ethic and focus on that love ethic, because that brings me to one of my favorite authors. Her name was she died in 2022, but her name was Bell Hooks. I love her. I've read her book All About Love so many times. Sadly, I haven't finished it because like sometimes I just can't read a book till the end. But that book found me when I was at my lowest. I was going through a crisis of identity. My self esteem was very low. I was going through so many things in that time period, and that book just found me. It was I as soon as I read the title, as soon as I read the what the book was going to be about, I knew that I needed to read this book. And something Bell Hooks has carried on through all of her books is a love ethic. I can try to explain what a love ethic is, but
Go read the book.
exactly, go read the book.
The people who are watching this probably need it.
Exactly. But it's just a very beautiful book. It goes into a lot of things. It goes into childhood, like the love that you get from your parents. It goes into when you get older. It goes into even love, like as it pertains to death, and I think that's very important. But like I said, I'm not at the level I want to be, but I just want to take a love ethic throughout everything that I do, throughout my whole throughout my whole future, throughout my whole lifetime. That's what I want to concentrate on, because a quote that I have in my Instagram bio. Oh my gosh. I've had this quote for a while, and I think it encompasses everything that I've learned in the past 2 years that just speak to me. A culture that is dead to love can only be resurrected by spiritual awakening. And I just think that's a very beautiful phrase. I also saw it in Bell Hooks. And like I said, that's what I want to take with me throughout my whole life. Yep.
So now we're coming to the second last question, which is You get to ask. You take your time.
Okay.
Anytime you get this, me and
Okay.
Martha, either one or each one separate question.
Okay.
Anything you want, we have to answer.
Okay. Okay.
Take some time.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is controversial or if you guys are willing to answer this question, but I love hearing tea about the school before I was here. So, is there anyone at this school that you hate?
That freak. I'm telling you, if crime was legal and I was not a moral person, I so I would have thrown a chair at this person's face the moment I could. This person, who shall not be named, I'm sorry, but sometimes once they act like they know everything. Actually, one time we were in this class that shall not be named, and other instances where like no one asked him this, like no one cares, and he'd be talking about things like, is your source even reliable? That's what I also asked myself. But the times this person got caught, best feeling ever. That's all I will say.
No.
You go.
No, I remember because I have this person in some classes, but not in the same class as Lisa has this person. Okay, we have two completely different classes. And I remember one time, I don't know who started a conversation, but I remember one time, do you know this person? As like one of us responded, yes, I do. I hate him. And then that's when we felt
Okay. Okay.
oh,
Okay.
like I don't hate anybody, okay? I'm a very loving person. I don't hate people. I actually feel bad.
But this one is exceptional.
No, listen, I still think he's probably a good person. We don't know him as a person, you know him from class, you know, from the way he behaves. And that behavior I hate.
He's just very, very, very.
It's the behavior. It's not the person, it's the behavior.
Because like, okay, what annoyed me is that I'm pretty sure he uses ChatGPT in class, and everybody knows, but the teachers don't freaking know.
And then he sounds super intellectual. I was like, yeah, that did not come from your brain. Let's pipe down.
I really hope the teachers get it, because sometimes they ask a question and he responds with the most basic freaking thing ever with like an answer that isn't even an answer, and the teachers are like, yeah, sure. Everybody else,
Well, what they do is when the teacher asks the question, he asks it again, but adds a little extra vocab to make it seem cool. I'm like, babes, let's stop. But the person is, can we say it together, but we'll bleep it out?
No.
Okay. That freaking noise.
No, I don't. I don't.
Is there anyone else like something property? I mean, there's personally.
Yeah.
Like she's not a mean person, and I don't hate her. It's just that she's special in her own way, and sometimes
She said some things to like a friend of mine that my friend was very traumatized over. Like we can
oh no, she said something. That came and told me.
was it the thing about
wait.
Traumatized.
Yeah. Okay. We can
whoa, that's good. Only we will know. That's what's I think one thing you have to understand is when someone is not financially stable, they don't have the financial capacity to uphold themselves the way that maybe you do. Just know that they have a whole life behind them. They're going through struggles. Maybe they're underqualified or overqualified. They can't find a job, or it's just difficult, you know. So you cannot expect everyone to get rich because it's a selection. Not everybody can be rich.
exactly.
But yeah.
I feel like we ruffled a few feathers during this section.
So much. We might have to remove this whole section.
No, believe it, and then put elevator music.
Like you did with
But now to our very, very last question.
Okay.
You are looking at your future self.
Okay.
To the camera or wherever you are looking at. What are your hopes and dreams? What are things, goals you hope you've accomplished? Say everything. Spew it now. It's your time. Pick your words wisely. Make
Okay.
yourself proud.
Hello, Nayra. Well, I hope you're doing good, first of all. And I hope you're okay with the situation that you're in. You don't have to be completely happy, but I hope that you have found peace with the situation, whatever it is you're in. But also, I hope that you've stopped being lazy, very lazy. And also, I hope that you found better ways to deal with your money. I hope you are financially intelligent because Lord knows how much money we have spent on carbonara. Lord knows how much money we have spent on buying pointless things that we don't need, mostly food. And I really hope, again, I'm saying this point again, that you not have maybe I used the wrong word, maybe not lazy, but you have how do you say ultrapasar? Overcome. Overcome. I hope you have overcome this thing you have in your mind where when something is hard, you suddenly shut down and you can't do it and you can't concentrate, and it takes you a long time just sitting there looking at a page to do something. And that you know that being uncomfortable sometimes is very necessary. I'm hoping that in these months, in these years, have taken the time to really lay the foundation work for that, because I know that I can't just hope. I know that I have to do these things now, so in the future, those hopes can become realities. And yeah, I hope that's it. Also, I hope that your family's doing good, Elder's doing good, that Mariana's doing good, that Fabi's doing good. Okay.
Everyone's doing good.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming to
Okay,
our
welcome.
pod. We appreciate it so much.
As soon as I saw that you guys were doing a podcast, I wanted to be on it.
No, we were so
Yeah.
I thought Lisa just went up to me like, "Hey, Nayra, do you want to be in your podcast?"
No.
Like, honestly,
But I
guys, don't know.
Yeah.
So cool. If anyone is seeing this, if you're genuinely interested, hit one of me or Marta up, and we will happily make space for you.
And even if you don't know us,
Like,
It's the best thing.
Yeah.
So we get to know each other. We don't have to be friends after, but it's all full of fun. It's
Yeah.
for your future self. Anyway, this was the Day Night Podcast. Lisa
and Marta.
see you guys next Monday.
because I also when
Wait, we got this something. Okay.
that's my Portuguese teacher.
Oh, he's really nice.
Yeah, he is. He's very nice. But like they just a certain group of people. Oh my god.
You might as well say it. Just say it.
Okay. Okay.